Well, top of the new year to you all. I think this is the first broadcast of 2018 for me, but yeah, good morning. It's about 7 a.m. I'm in my car, which is really weird, and it's always weird when I'm in my car because there's usually a reason for it. And today's reason is it is raining like a mother. And what I mean raining like a mother in California speak, which means there's water coming down. It doesn't matter like what volume or what intensity, but there's water coming down, which scares everyone, and now we are, wet. Mind you, too, this is the first time that it's rained since about April of last year. And, I think, and it's been a very dry year, obviously, because, as you know, most of Southern California was on fire, and then Northern California was taken out by fire back, in the summer. So there's just been a lot of stuff burning, and so this rain, as much as it is a welcoming thing, and I wish I could point this camera, obviously I'm driving so I can't pull it out, but if I could point this camera, I'm going southbound on the 405 right now. It's completely clear, as in I'm really just flowing normally at, 60 miles an hour, but northbound on the 405, which is heading toward the area that was affected by the Skirball fire, is backed up for miles. I have a feeling that that section of the 405 that, as many people on Facebook, if you don't live in this area, it's the one where the scene of driving on the freeway and all of the hills were on fire. That section of the freeway is north of me, where I live. That part has probably been closed, or they limited the lanes because of the risk of mudslides from the erosion caused by the lack of vegetation that basically just got scorched off during the Skirball fire. Now, just for your visuals, if you're on the 405, all the fire stuff, or most of the fire, occurred across from the Getty Center. So it's across the freeway. So the hillside that has the Getty Center wasn't really affected as badly as it appeared in the videos. So it's not, basically the side that hugs the northbound section of the 405 in that area, that is probably being under watch right now and hopefully not closed. I am hearing, though, there are sections of the 101 closed because of the fires, because of mudslides that have occurred, because it rained overnight and that didn't help. And currently I'm heading toward Orange County, and it's just going to be wet all day, but because, Orange County got their fires over with back in October, it's not so bad, and the area where a lot of the Canyon Fire stuff happened was farther away from houses, and they probably bagged up for that, though, and, all that stuff. So that's just a little insane. I think the only real thing that's going to be happening today, though, is all PE classes are going to be done inside, which means that internet's going to be compromised today because of the amount of units going to, staying on in front of my media center and filling up all of my access points. So I'm going to have probably pretty spotty internet. Aside from that, I don't see too much else, happening. But yeah, it's a bit wet today. It's on the wet side. It's supposed to be like this until at least Wednesday. And, this is probably one of those one-off storms because and I'll just harken back to December 2016, January 2017, and I have some fun stories about that because during one of the major rainstorms that we had in January 2017, when I was still working in South LA at the old site, we lost power completely, and it was about 2.5 hours of this, and because we lost power, we lost internet, we lost most of the lights, and the heating cooling system. So the school got extremely humid and gross. And what else it was having? Oh yes, and I had to bust out my flashlight, escort students to restrooms, do watch for things like that, and it was pretty insane. It was flooding, and the roofs were leaking, and it was just all sorts of craziness. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's great. Granted that I'm not going to see the, hi Susan. Granted I'm not going to see the same intensity of that series of rainstorms as I am now. and also, you know, traveling 30 miles eastbound, you know, is a little bit, gives me a little bit of a contrast. So yes, for the most part, the rain is pretty off and on. You don't hear it in my window right now because it's not really hitting that hard. Of course, the question could be, could I have ridden this, you know, ridden to work on the motorcycle? And the answer is probably yes. I would have had no issue doing it. At the same time, though, you know, I gotta be at work 40 hours a week and, you know, riding 30 miles each way. I think the reduced amount of stress that I could put on myself would definitely be helpful. And you know, I have a car, I might as well use it. You know, since fortunately in July I bought the car out, so it's out of lease. I don't have to worry about mileage restrictions, which comes in handy for days like this anyway. So anyway, I hope everyone else is staying dry. I don't know how bad your commutes are. I mean, mine is usually is usually about 30 minutes. Give or take. It's probably going to be more than that today because I am in the car, and at this point, I don't think a lot of people care if I get there, you know, a few minutes late, because rain is junk, and it's just yeah. Of course, you know, we Californians, we're pretty much like, rain, what's that? And it really has, we have potential of forgetting what rain is like, because as I mentioned again, it's been probably over 300 days since we got rain. And it does make a difference, you know. It's about the equivalent of people in Columbus seeing snow. You know, every time is the first time. So yeah, a lot of people exercising caution. I'm currently on the section of the 110, splitting between the 405 and the 91, which you know, of course, the out-of-staters are just a bunch of numbers I'm spitting out. But you get an idea of where I'm heading. It said I'm heading eastbound into Orange County. It's just going to be gray and miserable for most of the day, and I think I'm going to stay indoors. This is one of the few days during the year that, you know, it's a little bit cumbersome to be on a motorcycle. I mean, I spend most of my days riding to work, and I can still, funny enough, I can still count how many times I've taken my car to work so far on one hand. So, I mean, you make exceptions to the rule here, but you know, I remember when I was younger and much stupider, and you know, I would take the bike regardless. You know, of the situation, but nowadays it's kind of like, you know, it's really not worth it anymore. I have nothing to prove. Most people don't, but they like to think they do. But, you know, here we are. Is that a Veg 7 hole? Yes, I think that was. I'm, just to clarify, so Victor, hey Victor, how you doing? Was asking what I was playing on the radio, and I'm probably sure it was Avenged, A7X, so probably. But I do listen to Octane on XM Radio. That's one of my normal radio stations. I don't do regular radio. I actually have an XM subscription, which I've had off and on for the better part of 11 years. So, and of course, you know, you get a car that has XM built into the radio. It's like, oh, I'll just renew my subscription. Here we go. But for the longest time, I had for the longest time, XM Radio was actually on Eleanor for a bit, when it was when you were able to get it connected from your Garmin Quest, which it's been a long time since I've had. Actually, Zumo. I had a Zumo 550 at one point. So, how was my New Year's? My New Year's was busy and weird. I would say more on the weird side rather than the busy, but got through it, and the holidays and everything. I mean, my New Year's Eve was a bit more involved because, you know, I lost one of my rats on New Year's Eve. But aside from that, you know, everything else is okay. So I hope you are doing okay as well. You know, it's nice when I get some people watching in on the live, while I just kind of chug along here. And wow, okay, that is not cool, people. So, just as FYI, there's sections of the 91 that are prone to hydroplaning right now. This is not good. So I can see why everyone is taking it slow, and so am I. I don't feel like doing a slip and slide right now. Not in the mood. So, yes, for all you people out there, please be careful about the hydroplaning. It's no bueno. feel like you're sliding, do not slam the brakes. Just let it ride. Because that's the same rule that we used to have in, when driving in snow. So just when in doubt, just let off the gas. Just don't even test it. Stopping in rain and stopping in that, you don't want to do that. Hydroplaning is a bitch. You don't want it. So anyway. If it gets really slow today, maybe I'll do another broadcast from my desk at work. Why not? We'll see how internet treats and everything like that. Hopefully, I'll still have enough time to go get a coffee. We'll see with the time that it's taking me to get to work. We'll see what happens. Teddy bear hamster. Those things are cute. I just hope you got the one that doesn't bite, because those things are annoying when they bite. But hamsters are cute, and the fun part about them is, just when you're watching how much they eat, they stuff it into their cheeks most of the time, so you don't have to fill up the food all the time. If you're finding that you're filling up the food all the time, that means that they're just shoving it in their mouth and eating as they go along. These are little fat guys. So, but yes, thank you about Dobby. He was a good boy. I'm back to 3 rats. And the funny part is that these 3 rats are still part of the original 4 that I picked up in March of 20. I want to get this correct. March of 2015. So if my boys make it to March or February, March-ish, they will turn 2 this year, which is actually a nice milestone for rats because a lot of them don't make it to this point. So far, everyone's okay. I mean, I have to medicate 2 of the 3 rats every single day just to prevent the possibility of a recurrence of pneumonia. And then there's Patch, he's just himself, and there's really not much you can say about him. So everybody seems to be okay, and they're still alright. No one's heaving and weaving, so we'll just have to keep it that way. I am contemplating, getting another couple rats. Not right now. One thing is I'm a little weary on what kind of rats I'd like to get, because as I've learned the hard way, and the 4 boys that I picked up before, they're all Dumbo rats, and Dumbo rats, I'm learning, have very weak immune systems if you get the wrong. If they've inherited the wrong genetic lines. So unfortunately, I was just lucky enough to have gotten rats that are just genetically weaker, and that's why they croak so quickly, and that made me very sad. Yeah, you have to be careful about hamsters. Some of them can be a bit hostile. I don't know if there's a way to, other than training them to trust you, which is going to reduce the chances of them biting you. Hamsters are strange. You can train them. It's possible to train them, but the big thing is getting them used to your hand so that they know that it is not okay to bite you. I've had rats in the past that it took them a little while to learn that I was not a food object, and it just took a little while. It took a little trust, and then it got to the point where they could eat off my hand, and they wouldn't bite me. I had some rats that were smart enough that if they knew what was on my hand and what I was feeding them, they actually knew whether or not to nibble at the object that was in my hand or lick it. And they were pretty smart like that. So I hope your hamster isn't too insane Although I will say the story, though, is that when I was in college and, being at USC, I was extremely close to my, my house. Whenever my friends from out of state who had pocket pets like hamsters and things like that, I think they all had hamsters, what I would do is when they would go home to the East Coast for the Christmas break, I would take care of all of their animals because it was easy. Rodents really don't vary much in terms of the type of care you give them, as long as you give them food, water, and make sure their bedding's clean. There isn't really much of an issue with how to take care of a rodent. Hamsters are hamsters and rats are rats and mice are mice, and you can't put them all together in the same cage, but you can all take care of them the same way, so that's okay. So yeah, I used to babysit hamsters over Christmas breaks because so that when my friends would come back to the from the East Coast after visiting their families, their animals were okay and they could just continue their semester, so it's all good. But yeah, hamsters were an interesting bunch. I will have to admit to that. They're very fluffy and weird. And this is the part where the slowdown begins. I'm approaching Bellflower, and this is kind of gross. So there's that. But yeah, so I'm on the freeway right now. Please feel free to shoot the breeze. You got a question? I haven't had my coffee yet, which is normal. I pretty much woke up, showered, medicated the rats, and left. So kind of putzing along here and hoping that traffic continues to flow. I'm not at a stop and go yet, which I'm really glad about because those chain reaction crashes you get in snow, those can happen out here too in the rain because people forget that there is a safety issue when traveling faster than normal on wet surfaces. Not that the cars can't take it, it's the drivers don't know how to handle it. So you gotta watch out for all that stuff. Aside from that, it's another day in the hood. It's Tuesday, second day back from the winter break. This is the day that all of the students come back. Yesterday was pretty chill. Didn't have to deal with students, which was good because the library at the elementary school I work at was a train wreck. Not as bad of a train wreck because I left it in somewhat decent shape when but there was just a lot that had to be taken care of, and as you know, that's the one where the principal doesn't communicate very well. So I had to take care of a lot of things on my own, and then email, do first and ask for forgiveness later, because otherwise nothing would get done. It's kind of just the way it is at that particular site. Looking forward to seeing what's gonna go down at today's site, which is the one that doesn't have a library right now. It's the furniture is not in place and it's all a mess. And with the rain coming and all of the students going to be crammed into my media center for all of the PE classes, which is going to equate to about 5 periods. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I think what we should do is just get a copy of Rudy on DVD or somebody's Netflix subscription and just show a movie at this point. There's no point. There really isn't. What are you going to do about this? Either that or everyone's going to be on their iPad playing games or something like that, which we only assume that the internet is actually working today. Because anything can happen in a rainstorm, knock on wood, power outages, all sorts of things. So that's just going to be the way it is. Anyway, as I'm passing over Bellflower right now and kind of just heading down this way, looks like I will be a few minutes out than normal because of this rainstorm, and no one is traveling faster than 40 miles an hour, but at least it's flowing. I will take that. So, it is what it is. As long as everyone drives safely and we all, just kind of get to where we need to be in one piece, I'm good with moving 40 miles an hour on the 91. That is okay with me. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off for now, but if any other questions you have or anything else, want to say hi or whatever, throw it in the comments. I'll answer you. I've got a little bit of time today. I think today might be a apply for scholarships kind of day because I can, and I have a little bit of extra time for once. I can actually, do what I have to do. So I will talk to you all later. Be good. Stay dry. Don't hydroplane. Whatever you do, just don't hydroplane. I will talk to you later.